pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, so that is the 2.0 agenda approval.
Ms. Helens?
Yes.
Colton has asked me to see if we could add something to the agenda. Colton, do you want to share what you'd like to add to the agenda?
I would like to add a discussion about the St. Helens High School class of 2023 yearbook.
Okay. So we think maybe on new business then we could put him in as 6.3 and maybe move you that down to 6.4 then?
Yeah,
Does that work?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so did you catch that, Christie? Okay. Okay. All right. Got all of you on that part? You're to approve and send it?
I move we accept the agenda as amended.
Almost fought over that one. Okay, so move in second to accept the agenda as stated. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. Okay, well then I'm going to turn it over to you, Scott, for the Community Impact Award.
Yeah, this is kind of a special pleasure for me and I think for the entire board. Over the summer, the board does trainings, and at the training, there's a lot of discussion about all the great support we have as a community, from community members, students, and staff, and we need to do something to maybe recognize those folks. And I know we do individually from time to time, but just the amount of volunteerism, support that we receive in the school district is something that the board would really like to note. So through discussions, we decided that Impact Award would be the award that we'd like to give. We have students that make a tremendous impact on our school district. We have staff members, and we also have community members. So we're going to start on a regular basis, as the board has requested, to recognize those great individuals and people and groups that contribute immensely to the school district and the students that we serve. So we wanted to start out by recognizing a community member. And we have lots of great community members that donate time and energy to our school district. This one individual stands out in particular, has given of himself humbly, I would say thousands of hours to students in the community. He doesn't ask for anything. He's there supporting students, supporting the Lions, supporting coaches on a daily basis. As a matter of fact, he's wanting to be at a scoreboard right now, keeping track of the basketball game, and we've kind of taken away from his joy. And actually, I'm talking about Larry Click. He's an amazing individual. Larry keeps score and volunteers in, I think, every aspect of high school athletics, middle school athletics, and anywhere that he's asked without complaining. And it's just humbly giving. And I can't think of a better person to have as our first recipient of the Community Impact Award. So with that, we've reached out, asked a few people. We have 5 people that have written up a little bit about the impact that Larry's had, and so we've got 5 board members that will read that, and then I do see some other folks here that if they would like to say, there's no pressure, but if you would like to say something, then we would absolutely give you some time. So let's start out with our student board members. What would you like to start?
Alan Hollenblick said, "I've worked with Larry on many occasions as a volunteer for some games. If I could think of a word that best describes Larry, it would be dedicated. He lives to see these St. Helens kids succeed. I graduated in 1983, and Larry came in not long after I graduated. So he has been doing this for a long time with very little recognition. He certainly deserves any kudos that might come his way."
And this one's from Scott Stockwell. I've known Larry Flake for a very long time. As a young athletic director 20 plus years ago, Larry was my go-to man to help me at any event. He knew the procedures and the systems to run sporting events better than I did, as he's already done them for years. I have to say that Larry might be one of the kindest, most humble, and most giving people I've ever met. He has been a St. Helens sports booster for many years and has dedicated thousands upon thousands of hours to our students and community with a smile.
Larry is one of the most selfless individuals we have in St. Helens. He always volunteers to announce track events, run the scoreboards at wrestling, softball, and basketball. Every time we see Larry, he's excited to talk to you and learn how those lines are doing. He loves the school and the community. In 21 years, it is hard to recall not being at a game or a contest, rain or shine, and not seeing Larry volunteering his time to help our program. Sincerely, Corey Young.
This is from Jack Carter. After retiring from a company in the Newburgh area, Larry took a job as security guard with Boise Cascade. Larry helps with the softball program, prepares baselines with Gil McKenzie, something that they're both still doing today. Gil had 2 daughters that played on the team. Larry followed their journey all through high school sports. One of those daughters is now playing in some of the girls' programs, so Larry is rooting for another generation of athletes. Today, Larry still helps with football, filling in where he is needed, which is this year meant that he was busy helping at every home game. Larry also assists with home soccer contests if he is not doing his full-time volunteer job of running the scoreboard for volleyball games. In addition, there is a cross-country meet at McCormick Park. Don't be surprised to see Larry assisting with the meet in some fashion. During the winter programs, Larry works the clock for every home basketball game, girls or boys, for the Coapa League. That means working the clock from 4 o'clock to 9 o'clock, because there are 3 games. During the wrestling meet, Larry handles the clock duties. Spring season has Larry helping the softball team by prepping the field for play and running the scoreboard. Larry also announces for the track team during their home meets, keeping the pace of play on time. Last year, there wasn't enough, so Larry added clock duties at the middle school. They asked for help, and Larry said he would be there. This included wrestling, basketball, and again volleyball. Larry has also sat on the Booster Club board for about 6 years and has been a member since the very beginning. Every Friday, Larry can be seen sitting in his chair, drinking his hot chocolate with the extra whip and cherry on top. Larry recently overslept and missed a regular Friday meeting. I think Larry earned the right to sleep when he wants, and promptly received 2 calls from Embry wondering if he was all right. Larry doesn't miss much having to deal with St. Helens sports. Jack Carter.
This is from Stan Gerard. Larry was raised in San Diego, California. The school he graduated from has an abnormally high number of people who moved on to become famous. Ted Williams, for one. Larry dabbled in automobile racing while living in San Diego. Today, he is a big fan of NASCAR. Larry moved to Oregon looking for work. Larry lives in Scappoose with his cats. Spends most of his time today watching the big races and working with the Booster Club. Even though Larry lives in Scappoose, he's very familiar with the history between St. Helens and Scappoose. 7 Mile War, anyone? Larry has mentioned that his least favorite moments as a scorekeeper are the ones against Scappoose. There's always a little more tension in the air. One of the very first contests Larry had was against Scappoose. Larry made a small mistake, and the crowd was on him pretty bad. Larry has never forgiven them for how they acted. Larry has always maintained that we treat both the home team and the visiting team with the same respect, always reminding the announcer to include the visiting team's results as well as the home team's. Larry has no kids, and St. Helens High School sports and interaction with the student athletes are what keep him young. Larry is always an hour early before games so that he can be prepared to do his job.
Is there anybody that feels like they want to say or add?
I'll give an extra thank you to Larry. I was, God, it's making me emotional. I was one of the lucky ones to receive support from Larry. And gosh, some of my best memories in high school are with Larry, keeping score and chalking lines. And when Larry's smiling, you're smiling. So his support and everything doesn't just stop when you graduate. I'll always cherish you. So thank you, Larry.
Well, I read confession of Larry student matters always. Do you need help? Do you need help? But we always say the hot dogs. You didn't do that, Larry. Least we can do is give you hot dogs.
Anybody else over there?
I better say one thing, it's been really good, always with wrestling, he's always there to help and make sure, keep you in line, so I didn't get out of control on the bench, so it's great to have him around, always a happy face.
Literally, Larry's more than deserving for our first Community Impact Award. And we couldn't be prouder, and you're an amazing role model for our students and our community.
So with this, and I'm so proud to be one of the signing on to the first one of 2023, the Compact Community Award, and we're gonna turn with this lady first.
Fun, get off video.
Here he is, let's give him a round.
I just want to thank everybody. I've been through a lot, enjoyed all the coaches that I've helped coach and times I've done. And I hope to be around a little bit longer. Thank you.
Are we supposed to shut him back out the door to get across the street now? Yeah,
If
sorry.
anybody needs to leave, you can leave.
No, I'm just trying to get Larry back to do his job.
I know.
Time to hit the buttons.
He wants to stay for a while.
Let me go with
We're not kicking you out.
Well, not kicking
you.
you out.
Long enough.
I'll do the same with that one. Thank you, Larry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Put that chair there so nobody can get in.
Lock them in.
All right, well, then we'll go on to 4.0, visitors to address the board. And this is the time for public comment on non-agenda items. And the board will not take any immediate action, but will refer any concerns to the superintendent and ask them to report back to the board. We appreciate keeping your comments to 3 minutes per individual, or 5 minutes if you represent people from the. Do we have any appearance on this category?
No requests.
No requests? All right.
You think it's a A if you actually come.
Did we told Denise and
You can talk about agenda items, it's okay.
Okay. Look over the agenda quickly. All right, so we'll go on to 5.0, the consent agenda. Everybody good with that one?
You accept the consent agenda?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the consent agenda as stated. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, so now we're gonna move it to the new business. And I don't want to say it wrong, so tell me again. Amelia. Okay, that's the one. All right, she is gonna be doing our ESP report first. You're getting so good at this, too, by the way.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
And then I'm gonna be replacing you next year.
If you could be thinking.
Hi everyone, I'm Amelia Watkins. I'm the ASC Public Relations Officer. I'm continuing about some things. going on at our school, some leadership events. Maybe.
You might have 3 o'clock working, or I can do it for you if it's not. Sure, sorry, I tested it right before.
All right, so at the beginning of January, ASB took a field trip to the Columbia Pacific Food Bank to present our donation checks from the 7 Mile War donation drive that we had earlier in the fall. We met some of the Scappies leadership team there. Combined, our leadership team donated about $1,000. We got to take a tour of this new facility and see how people can donate, how easy it is for people to go and get the food that they need. It's a really nice facility. Honor Band students performed at the District Honor Band event in Forest Grove. Middle school band was conducted by Jenna and Jane from Gordon Russell Middle School, and high school band was conducted by Dr. Patrick Murphy from the University of Portland. The middle schoolers are the ones in the purple shirts, and the high schoolers are the ones in the tuxes and dresses. Leadership met with the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and we will be partnering them with on a fundraiser sometime soon. Winter Ball is this Saturday. We are currently selling tickets at lunch, $30 without ASB, $25 with. It's being held at Columbia City Elementary, and the theme is Black and White Masquerade, and that is our Winter Ball court. Andrew Warlitz, Vanessa Wallace, Carl Hilton, Haven Freshner, Faith Elder, Heather Harwood, Cameron Waite, and D'Angelo Mitchell. The ballot is still open for students to vote. It will close on Friday night, and our court will be featured in an assembly on Friday along with our winter sports camp. And this week is also Winter Ball Spirit Week. Monday was Generation Day, so seniors were to dress up as senior citizens, juniors as adults, sophomores as kids, and freshmen as babies. Tuesday was Zoom Day, so you could dress for business on the top and pajamas or sweatpants on the bottom. Wednesday was Matching Day, so match with whoever you were going to Winter Ball with. Thursday is Little Mister or Miss, so if you guys know that kid's book, it's called Little Miss, but you could just wear a t-shirt or look at paper and write Little Miss, Little Mister, and then a personality trait. So you could do like Little Miss, bad at math, something like that. And then Friday is ties and tiaras, so Jessica. There's some upcoming events. ASE applications go out on February 3rd, so any juniors or sophomores that would like to apply. Winter Club Rush is February 6th through 10th. 11 Kindness Week is coming up also in February, and then after that we are doing a Heart Health Awareness Week, which is new to leadership. Got it.
Thank you. Anybody got any questions? Sounds like a lot of fun for this week, especially.
Yeah.
Good luck on everything the rest of this week. Alrighty, well then let's see here. The next one we're going to do is turn it over to building administrators for school reports. Is anybody volunteering to go first? Oh, I see how you guys are. All right, ready. Nice, Mr. Williams, come on up here.
He's got things to do and places to be, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
And is this the time that we're that's we're not there yet. Okay. So I just have a slideshow with you. Can you just make sure we show the first slide there? Good evening, school board. I'm Chris Goyman, principal of St. Helens Middle School, and I'm here for our Riverhawk School reports. Really, I have one thing to report out on this evening, and thank you. Last time I checked in with you, I talked about this idea of response to intervention or systematic intervention for our students. And I wanted to report back and let you know that we've successfully now taken 2 groups of teachers, 8 total within our school, all core teachers on different teams at all grade levels, to the summit in Austin, Texas, to learn a lot about the why behind systematic intervention for students.
and then also to Pasadena, California for the how to implement systematic interventions. And we've come away with 8 teachers who are really bought in on the concepts of changing our school schedule, adjusting time in the day for students to get academic support, academic help, and really targeting those skills that they're lagging in. And so we have a motivated group. It's been amazing learning, and yeah, we're excited to begin implementing. Currently, we're in the process of narrowing down what we call our essential standards, which are basically the learning targets or the learning that kind of is centered in each class. And then the next step is to publish those and then begin to develop a schedule that allows for students who are not meeting those standards to have a place to receive support within the school day. So we're hard at work on this, and it's something that if you check in with our teachers at the middle school, they'll tell you they loved it, and they feel like this is a really good approach to supporting our kids who have been severely impacted by COVID and some of the other times away from school. That's all I have for you now, and we'll do that one later.
I'm wondering though, you may have, I need to check with with our admin team. We have reports kind of planned, and then you want to recognize your board member. Is that kind of?
I think they were planning on just recognizing.
I think they may have been.
Yeah.
I think they may have
Wait, they're not telling me.
been.
You have a different category. That's what they want.
I didn't understand.
Okay,
I can adjust, or I can.
I think we probably.
should. All right, well then I guess you're going back to your chair for now.
No,
You want me to go?
No,
Yeah.
we're getting something.
Yes, thank you.
That's what.
All right. So. Yeah.
Nothing if not adaptable.
Each of the school sites was asked to recognize a board member who's had a significant impact on our school community. And so St. Helens Middle School has one board member who's spent a ton of time in our school, working with the students, coaching the students, supporting our teachers, involved in our after-school programs. And most recently, as you'll see when the slide comes up here, this individual actually had a lot of influence on the addition of some facilities at our site. So we had some storage issues inside of our building because we have all this beautiful furniture and amazing resources, but nowhere to put it inside the building, as well as lots of athletic equipment inside on our stage. And Mr. Amos, thank you for all your support to St. Helens Middle School and all your care towards our students and our staff. Adding that shed, that athletic shed, has made a massive difference in just access to our closets and all of our PE equipment. It's improved the lives of our PE teachers. So thank you for your efforts and spearheading that. And we are recognizing you as our River Hawk board member. So here are your gifts, and thank you very much for your time and service.
Good evening, everyone. It's good to see everyone. And I got to start by saying you collectively do so much for not just us. It snowballs downhill to all the people that benefit from your work. And we are very fortunate and blessed to have you as our leadership group. And I like to be honest in my words, so I'll stick it to that. So first of all, thank you for allowing me to share. I am digging into efforts to change culture at Plymouth High School. That includes students and staff both. And while we have a lot of good things that were certainly there before I showed up, there's a lot of improvements that we can make, and we're already on the path of making some of those. Some of them are as easy as implementing, that day, where others are going to take some more work and understanding, so we're all on page. My goal is to have the young and old both on the same page and pretty dialed in by the end of second semester, so we can start next year on a new footing. So, so far so good. The teachers haven't thrown their computers at me yet, and the students are really responding well. So we'll keep going at it daily, and I have high hopes and feel really good about my crew and the students that are attending there. They do all have unique needs that get them to my school, and we have a lot others that we would love to be able to serve, but we only have a certain carrying capacity. But we love the fact that we have the opportunity to work with the kids that we do. That said, one of the things that I've implemented are one-on-ones with both students and staff. I'm trying to meet with every student. That takes a little bit longer, especially as your day always presents itself. But they're very valuable in just forming relationships, in getting to understand them as individuals and where their strengths and their challenges are. I have something that I value very much that I shoot from every day. It's up on my whiteboard, and that's communication and relationships. And I believe success in any way, shape, or form can be garnered through good communication and relationships. With that, these one-on-ones, as far as I understand, have never been attempted before, so I feel good about establishing that right out of the gates. My challenge is to get to all the kiddos before the end of the year, and where it's a valuable meeting. So I look forward to continuing that work. While we meet, we run through grades, we review the grades with the student, address any needs or issues that they bring to the table. And if they show up and they really don't have much to pursue in needs, it's a nice few moments to get to know each other and have a good conversation, so they feel better about me and the school and moving forward as compared to before they walked into the office. So going to keep doing that because, again, communication and relationships is so valuable. Right now, and as I pondered whether or not I should share this, but doggone it, I feel pretty good about it, so I'm going to throw it out there. Going into our last weekend and last partial week of grading, I have a third of my students are passing all their classes, and that's a pretty good mark. The vast majority of the rest of the students have either one or two classes that are mid-50s or high 50s. So it's with some work over the weekend and next week, I should see a lot more passing grades. And with that, I ran all the grades a couple nights ago, and I've been going through them with the kiddos, but just in that time, it's changed because things are being handed in and graded and et cetera. So I feel good about finishing up this quarter, but I'll feel even better moving ahead for second semester with that, and establishing habits and changing mindsets. We have more freshmen than we've ever had before. We can thank Chris for the work that he did last spring in partnering together. We went over there and toured the school, and the seniors, the Plymouth High School seniors spoke to the freshman group that were thinking about coming, and that was very valuable too. So we have 9 freshmen. We're going to lose one because she wants to go back to main campus, but it's an awesome freshman group, and they are digging in and getting acquainted with the rules of the road pretty quickly, and I'm proud of how they've started. That's really all I have. Outside of Kelly, I get the pleasure of speaking about you for a minute, and I want to say, one second. I want to say, first of all, I can't overemphasize. I like to tell people all the time, whatever I say is true, truthful and authentic. I don't like to shine shoes and just make people happy, etc. But Kelly, you are a stalwart leader that is unmatched in a lot of ways. Your positiveness, the impact that you've had on our school system with being on the school board for as long as I've been here, and more so countywide with your commissioner work. And I just appreciate that all of your work services and benefits so many people. And not all of us can say that. And so thank you, thank you, thank you for your walk and your dedication to helping others from your house on out. And
Asked if you've ever been to your house yet.
yes, but really appreciate what you bring to this place that we all benefit from. So. No, I'm gonna go over there.
Do you want to read it?
Yeah. If I may.
We could hold it up. And you can...
I don't know. Okay. Okay.
Your kids are gonna love you.
Okay. Extra, read all about it. St. Helens School District really scored with a 100 grand slam like Babe Ruth when Kelly was voted in. She quickly became the shining star at the center of our Milky Way. She has dedicated mounds and mounds of hours crunching her way through the board policies, good and plenty. She definitely deserves to take 5 and has earned a whopper of a payday. We only wish we could send her to New York, to the New York Symphony with joy. Thank you, and
All right, which one is next? All right, come on up
Good evening. I'm Dr. Katie Wagner, principal at St. Helens High School. First, I just want to express my sincere thanks for all of your staunch support of every single student in this district, every single family, every single staff member. Your dedication and just your presence at every meeting and every event and reaching out and showing your care is very much appreciated. So from St. Helens High School, we hope that you enjoyed your dinner and a show this evening. So we wanted to express our thanks to each of you for this evening. So to start with the high school report, just a quick update. We have spring forecasting that's going to be starting in the next couple of weeks. So forecasting will be starting in mid-February with our current 10th or 9th through 11th graders. And then we will be hosting our Becoming a Lion Night event for our rising 9th graders on February 21st. So that evening will be at the high school for our incoming 9th grade parents and students to come into the old library area. We'll have some presentations, 2 different sessions so that we can manage size a little bit. And then we'll have some different showcases in the commons area so families and students can walk through, get to know what offerings we have before they actually forecast for next year. The following day, Then we will go out to the middle school, give a presentation. Students will come to the high school for a brief tour of our elective showcase, and then return back to the middle school for any kind of question and answer session so that they can make informed decisions about forecasting for next year. So we're really excited that we're able to have these events back in person and have students be able to see all of the different elective offerings that we have at St. Helens, which we are all very proud of. One thing that we are focusing on at the high school is around student engagement. So that is a domain in our 5Ds instructional framework that we've adopted district-wide. And today we actually were working on lesson plans with a common template with all of our high school teachers. So today they all came together into the old library and brought different lessons and worked collaboratively with each other to invigorate those lesson plans together using AVID strategies. So AVID strategies, specifically Wicker, writing, inquiry, collaboration, organization, and writing. So we differentiated that for our staff. So some of our newer teachers that may not have as big of a toolbox were able to actually engage in some of those activities and then take that into developing a lesson plan. And other staff members who are more veteran staff members sat with different groups and talked about their lesson plans with other teachers, gave each other ideas, and then refined each of their lesson plans. So being able to work together as an entire staff in improving our lesson plans, making sure that student engagement is our #1 priority, was really exciting. So we will actually be continuing that work into February with an AVID trainer so we can keep this momentum going. The last piece that I wanted to mention, and Mr. William talked about it a little bit as well, is the RTI at Work conference that our staff attended. So at the high school, we've now had 5 different teachers and 2 administrators that have attended the conference. They've all been from different departments, so we have a really wide representation. And the staff that returned from the Austin conference gave some feedback to our entire staff today, sharing how inspirational it was. There's some specific strategies that they've already started implementing just in the first few days. One of them is recognizing they don't want to grade just on the whole assignment anymore. They want to give some more specific feedback as it relates to the standards that the students are expected to learn. So she's actually deconstructing the assignments so that she can give some more specific feedback and track it so that it's really meaningful for the students. And the teacher knows what the students will need for any kind of interventions. So we're really excited about that. A lot of them came back saying that they really are focused on all means all, and that means meeting kids where they are at and identifying how we can provide appropriate interventions for those students who may need that extra support embedded during the day. One of those things that we've already been doing is intersessions. So we just ran an intersessions this last Saturday. Since we're getting to the end of the semester next week, we invited some students that were struggling, that needed a couple extra hours, some of them the whole 6 hours, to get some extra assistance with staff, making up tests, asking some clarifying questions. We had over 80 students in attendance this last Saturday. Many of them stayed for the entire time. We had a number of staff who were present. We had classified staff, campus monitors, basketball coaches, auto shop teachers. We had math teachers, language arts teachers, social studies teachers, adults really wrapping around kids that needed some support and that adult guidance. So overall, it was a huge success. And it really is going to make the difference between a lot of students passing and not passing, just to finish that up. So our staff are really wrapping around our kids and making sure that all of them will be successful. So they're really living into our maxims of being courageous and dedicated and prepared. Staff are demonstrating that in their own professional work and then are really passing that on to our students. So we're really excited about the work that's to come. Lots of great things going on.
I'm Brooke Valente, and I'm the current interim principal at Lewis and Clark.
And I'm Martin Heeman. I'm the other interim principal at Lewis and Clark.
I just wanted to start by saying it's been an honor to serve at Lewis and Clark for the past month. I don't have as much to share because I've only been there for a month, but it is a very caring and strong staff. And I'm just really excited about the work that I heard at the middle school and the high school. I had the opportunity, so did Martin, to attend the RTI conference, and there's a lot of great work happening there, especially in teaching and learning. So I think that that's something that we will bring to Lewis and Clark as we are there, just having that experience and moving that work forward.
And we're following up with Ms. Barnett's guidance and her leadership, and we are starting a leadership team within the building that will help guide this work within Lewis and Clark, as well as partnering with us in teaching and learning. And we've already met with K2 teachers for one night, and we're going to do it again tomorrow night. And it's really exciting work.
And teachers are very excited about it.
Yes,
so we have some good momentum going.
They really want, what we found last year and this year in teaching and learning, is that they want that collaboration time between buildings. And what the RTI conference was talking about is building essential standards that no matter what school your child goes to, no matter what teacher in that grade your child has, all those students are going to meet those essential standards.
So with that said, we just wanted to say thank you, Mr. Monahan, for all of the work that you do for our schools and from the staff of Lewis and Clark. So thank you so much for your work, and we couldn't continue with our work in teaching and learning without all of you.
All right, here we go.
Okay, well, with that, I will introduce myself. Dr. Pink, Principal at McBride. Good evening, Mr. Stockwell. Good evening, Board. I am excited to share 2 successes and 1 opportunity at McBride, and I'm going to switch it up just a little bit, actually. I'm going to start with an opportunity. And I'm going to be actually transparent and say that beyond opportunity, I wanted to make sure that I'm honest in sharing a challenge. And we've said this before, but I want to continue to make sure that we're all aware. We have struggled with shortage of substitutes, and we've had to be very creative. It has been a challenge, making sure that we have awesome teachers and staff to support our students. And I'm saying that really because that's where a success has resulted from. Just today, we were short 10 staff members, and that was a challenge. But the success is the teamwork and the sharing really from even Lewis and Clark sent over staff, the high school sent over a staff member to help support our students. And when I heard that good news, I was reminded of Mr. Stockwell's message of we're not just a district of schools, instead we are a school district. And really that just speaks to the teamwork and collaboration. With that teacher support and effort, I do want to congratulate and just honor the good work that is happening, because with the staff that we have, they are working so very hard. I would say extra hours, extra time to support our students, but then that's fostering collaboration, teamwork, looking for solutions to problems. And so that really has then been a success. And really, when it comes down to it, we're all here for the students. And so that's been fantastic. Speaking of students, a success is that we're looking forward to opportunities to engage parents and welcome them into our school. We've got an upcoming event, especially the kindergartens parents. We want to make sure that they're brought in, they're welcome and invited to our school. We have an upcoming reading event, a motorcycle, Mouse and the Motorcycle. In fact, one of our colleagues here owns a motorcycle, and he's partnered with some of his buddies, and we're going to have quite a few motorcycles here. Is it a motorcycle or a motorcycle? Anyway.
I'm really being a mouse.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. All right.
Somebody's got to be the.
Yeah. Anyway, we're looking forward to that. In addition, not just motorcycles and a great book, but a carnival and book fair. So again, this is engaging for parents in our community, welcomes them into our school, and just just fosters that connection with the students and just make sure that not just kindergarten, but we're looking forward to even our 5th graders, all elementary, so I'm stealing some thunder from the other schools here. But our 5th graders in just a month and a half going to the BizTown, an all-day activity learning, and we've got buses set up for that, working on parent volunteers. Again, another connection with families to our schools. So a lot of neat things happening, not just at McBride, but across the district. Okay, so I appreciate the teamwork there. Speaking of teamwork, it's time for me to honor McBride. Lucky enough to have Miss Melody Helens. And,
Oh, I got my own stuff.
I do want to say that this really should be a go sign, because really Miss Helens does not need a stop sign, because just her facial expression and her hand in the morning is sufficient. Even this morning, I appreciate her character in the morning. I'm just going to say it. I don't have much hair, and I'm always freezing in the morning at 7:30. And Ms. Helens is there in a t-shirt ready to go, welcoming, inviting students, keeping our students safe. But really what I love is just her positivity every morning. And bonus, I get to learn about the St. Helens community, things that I would have never guessed. And these are compliments, by the way. I do have to say that what's great about Ms. Helens is that she values our community. She knows, I know that guy in the truck, or that mom in the van. She knows people know her. And
she babysat them.
The millipede.
Yeah.
Even though the police student was back there.
Yeah. So I've learned to be careful with what I say. She knows everybody, but anyway, this is obviously I'm presenting this, but really this is from McBride. We appreciate you and all that you do for our school, and of course for our district. Thank you.
All right. This is so I can have it in my trunk, and I don't have to walk all the way to McBride to get the stuff and come all the way back out there. It'll just be ready to go.
Hi, Jen. Hi. I'm Jennifer Vanisher, principal of Columbia City Elementary. It's amazing how quickly January has gone by, but we've had some cool things that we've been doing. So when I was first hired, I took a look at that playground. I said, that slide is dangerous. It's too big. It's dangerous. And Mr. Stockwell assured me that no, kids are tough out here. They can handle it. And they've been okay on it. But I am so excited to have a new playground. So we have met with our playground crew. It includes parents, community, our PTO, our staff, and our 3rd grade team even got our kids envisioning what a playground could be. We started out with some deep reading about what a playground should be. And so we've got some amazing ideas of what our playground's going to be out there. So we've already had 2 meetings.
Taller slide?
No.
2-story curly slide. That's what I grew up with.
No, there could be like rivers and rocks. And it's very natural. So, and our preschool was there too. So really having something that has flow, that has different places to play. And this article that we found that we read talked about how you need to have places for the child who just wants to be sitting and quiet and thinking. And we've got that beautiful river. And then you need to have those kids that want to run like crazy. And their suggestion was with some risk, and I said controlled risk. We need controlled risk, but yes, they need to be able to have fun and engagement. So I'm very excited for the playground we're going to create. And thank you for helping us to be able to have that. So that's the first thing. Also, our talented and gifted crew, or TAG crew, has really been working on trying to bring more opportunities for our students, and so they've started up a junior great books activity for our great thinkers, and we've tried to make sure that it's not just based on reading skill, but those kids who are deep thinkers and trying to scaffold that for them. So we've got 3rd through 5th grade students taking part in junior great books. If you don't know what that is, it's a lot of inquiry-based reading that's in addition to what they're doing within their classroom. And so that is something new that started this year and this January. Something that we're working on, so testing data can be hard to look at. It can be challenging, so we've been doing some diving into that, really trying to pull it apart. What is it telling us about our students? What is it telling us about our school? What is it telling us about what's going well and where we need to go next with our students? So Mr. Altucker, who you met, and I did a first dive. I'm going to be meeting with our resource teacher, our title teacher, our culture and climate person, looking at, again, more eyes on not only testing data, but attendance data, how well we know our children, what our empathy interviews are telling us, just trying to get a feeling for how we are as a whole school. And then the next step will be bringing that out to entire staff. So again, we can see, celebrate what we're doing well, and where do we want to go next. So that is our plan. We got short and sweet today. And Mr. Scholl, Columbia City would like to say thank you for everything you do for us. So we have some little, you get to be an honorary otter, which is the best mascot. I'll just say it. I don't know. Mr. Scholl says, I don't have a hard thing over here. That's a one more thing. You're out of luck. Too much stuff in the hand. Hands down. You are the best. So this should be honor pause, but that's our hands.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Good evening, everyone. So I am Danny Boylan. I run the early learning for the St. Helens School District. So I just want to say at the end of the year, I came in here very excited that I finally had a full staff, all new people to start the year. And all I can say is I am glad I hired the team I have, because I started out this year with a family medical emergency that put me out for quite a while. And my new team, first day of work, had got thrown in, and everyone took each other under their wing. They went grocery shopping. They figured out what each other needed. They helped each other figure out subbing situations, and really just made me realize, like, I picked the right team for this job. So I couldn't be more proud of the group that I have working for us. So on that note, I've decided only to do positive things tonight because of everything going on in my own life. So last night we had our first family event of the year, and we had our big snowman event, and we had every family make a snowman out of anything that they wanted at home and bring them in. And we had this beautiful array of different kinds of things, from made out of food to made out of paper and glue. Some were still wet and were starting to fall apart, but we got pictures ahead of time that will be posted by Stacy tomorrow in our Good News. But we ended up we had a few families sick, so we ended up with 79 people in attendance at our first one, and we'll have another one in March to see. Lots of parents are very excited to come back and do another one, but there were crafts and science experiments and sensory objects, and teens helped me make all kinds of activities for the kids to do, and everyone seemed to really enjoy themselves. Second, we have been doing a play-based inquiry professional development with all of my team, and on Friday we don't have Preschool Promise, and so our team has been invited out to Sacramento Elementary to come spend half a day there and observe their play-based program and take pictures and observe, and then afterwards get to meet the teachers and kind of see how they implement their play and live parts into their program, so that our teachers can come back and also sit down with the kindergarten teachers when we get back, since they weren't able to go, and see how we can expand this even further in our classrooms. And lastly, tomorrow we get to go on our field trip to OMSI, which the kids are really excited about, but what makes it even better is it is the last day that our practicum kids from the high school are coming over. So I arranged it on the last day so that the little kids get to take their big buddies that they've had all semester with them. And I think the big kids might be more excited for this trip than the little ones. But we decided, since this was the first semester that they got to be bussed over from the high school twice a week to work with our kids, that we wanted to end the semester with a reward for them doing such a good job in planning activities for our kids. So now we're going to get on to.
Did you invite your kids to dinner or real snowman next week?
I hope to fill the sensory table with real snow next week. All right, thank you.
Yeah, I
responsible for them all. And so I have the distinct pleasure of honoring this young man next to me. And so Colton, I want to thank you, congratulate you for being the first full-fledged student board member. Here's a little gift for you. Thank you, Mr. Stockwell. You're very welcome. Colton has exceeded by far our expectations, bringing value to the board. This is another item that we spoke about this summer, recognizing community and bringing student voice. Colton has done an amazing job and will continue to do an amazing job in helping us set the standard for what a student board member should be. An excellent example is he's speaking up and saying, I want to put something on the board. He's not bashful, he's respectful, and he represents the students at St. Helens High School very well, and we're all honored to call him the call. Thank you.
In fact, we can teach them how to say that. Okay. All right, well, let's see, I think it's still you, that I'll be turning over the next thing for the board appreciation. Would you want to do superintendent report first?
I think we slid in.
I know, but that's what I'm asking.
I think we should slide in, Colton had a discussion item that he
Okay.
left it.
All right.
So, Colton, you want to share the discussion item and
6.3.
maybe give a little background and then the board.
So I understand all of the craziness that has been going on for the last, has it really been 3 years since COVID hit? Oh my God.
Yeah.
However, I would like to bring attention to the board to the fact that the St. Helens High School, now graduating class of 2023, has not received a single yearbook since their 8th grade year. The class of 2022, last year's graduating class, also did not receive a yearbook from 2020 onward. And the class of 2024 has not either. I know there's been a lot of issues, and especially recently, stuff behind the scenes. However, I would just like to bring attention to the board that there are a lot of students and parents alike in our community who are curious as to what is happening with the yearbooks, especially the ones from the 2020 and 2021 school years. That is what I would like to open the discussion about today. I've already spoken to student council about it. A lot of it is logistics, such as like timelines that, like very strict timelines that Johnston's has laid out for us for yearbooks. But the 2020, 2021 yearbooks apparently are not even completed yet. And so I just wanted to bring that to the attention of the board, especially in light of an uptick in parents and students asking where they are.
Do you know if they were completed yet in-house or just not completed yet with Johnston's?
Not completed yet in-house.
So I still have time to get my senior photo in.
No, you don't.
Yeah, that's concerning, and it was brought to my attention a week ago. I've done a little bit of investigating on that topic. I'm concerned that we possibly charge parents have provided a product, so it seems like retaining the light. I'm hesitating saying mess, but it's going to take some more to pull apart. So, does the board have any questions or concerns beyond the obvious?
Well, one of the things I was thinking, and so correct me from, is could we to try to, for right now, to try to get as much together for them to get these completed, is to not only look back at the different time periods about who was around the kids, even the kids are there, community members. There's a lot of people, like I was even in charge of putting annuals together, that you have community members that even remember how to put them together. They may be different if somebody from 1980 tells you how to do it than 2000, okay, but, you know, it's 2020, right? But I was just thinking, I bet that if you actually ask for people, yeah, and the whole Saturday, even just a couple of them, multiple of them, working the whole day in big groups and tables in terms of what we can't do, what are we missing, what could we do to get it to them, even if it's a little bit late, and still get it together, and to not get it wrong.
There are people in the community that were very involved with yearbook past and have experience, know what's there, and would like to volunteer to help those people that are trying to put it together. Because it's a really big task that takes an awful lot of time. And there are myriad reasons why it's particularly challenging when the also class of 2023 and 2024 in particular, they have never been to a school assembly like I did, middle school or high school. They do virtual assemblies where they go out and do videos and show them over the TV, but they've never been to PEP. They don't even know what a real PEP assembly is. They tried carol contests. It was a challenge for them. The things that, I mean, they're working hard to make some sense of normalcy, but it's a real significant challenge to get people there after school, and your rooms are messed up and COVID and all the many excuses that we have. But I think we still need to find a way to produce a product. So those are things that people carry for. I still have my high school yearbook.
So in this virtual world, a lot of these historical traditions have fallen aside. And this is a space that I think we really need to not just get on this now, but start thinking really hard about how we're going to try and do some sort of experience for those that have gone. I mean, the fact that we've got graduating seniors that are gone, yearbook signing parties, the ability to put those little notes, those memories that we all have in our senior years, junior years, whatever the case is, as we look at them and we reflect back on those, we change over the course of our lives. But those always help to anchor us back to either some of the best memories that we have or the trials and tribulations that we grow through. Where we've got none of that in this space, you know, social media has its benefits and its pitfalls. I feel like this is one of those things that is a rite of passage for many of our students that we haven't been able to give them. So even if we get these things put back together as soon as possible, I think we need to reach out to the community and find ways to, as much as we can for our students that are in the area, or that we can gather them back, we need to do a rather significant mea culpa and provide a space for them to come in and try and do something to make up for the lack of that opportunity.
It's kind of actually traditionally lately been that you don't get your yearbook until just January, February, March after you've graduated anyway. Is how it's been working the last maybe 10 years.
Is that traditionally at high school now, or is that just here? Because that seems horrific.
I got my high school yearbook in August.
When I was talking about this to student council, it's not a tradition, but rather yearbook companies with very strict printing schedules and hundreds of schools that they need to print. And so it's not necessarily a change in tradition. It's more of they just physically cannot get those yearbooks.
Our high schools just had a different deadline. So like I know spring cheerleading might not have ended up in the yearbook if it wasn't done and early enough. So they shove in as many as they could, and then we'd get them back and we'd be able to sign. But that was coming to an end after we graduated, and it was kind of
Well, and I don't know how many years it's been, but when I was there, you didn't get your book in time, so we wanted to make sure your graduation pictures were even there. So we all had an autograph book that could slide back into the annual later, and I still have that too. But that was something you could, and as during the graduation week, you could all be getting any signatures you want and writing whatever you wanted, which wasn't always what you wanted to read, but you know, but at least you could write it. And I have to tell you, there's a blessing to that, because when you write in somebody's annual, and then the class president or the supervisor president brings their annuals back for class reunions, and people go, I wrote that. Not, 20 years later, I can't believe I wrote that. Okay, because you were a kid back then when you wrote it. So to have that autographed book that you can kind of throw aside and still nothing's in your annual is somewhat a little bit of a better idea. Okay, so I was thinking if this even could get a really cool little autograph book that, I don't remember, mine probably had 10 pages at least, so that you could have a sign all over the place and have a great time with them. But we can probably throw it away 10 years later if you want to, but you still have your annual. So there might be a way to at least resolve that issue a little bit. But I just still think you have so many people that have pictures on their phone that we may not have gotten at the school. But if we say, hey, anybody got pictures from the track team from 2000, 2001, whatever it may be, and list them down, we might be able to have community members that let now to bring us pictures. So you put in stuff together.
So I guess what I'll do is I'll reach out to high school, we'll do a little investigation. I've already had some conversations with them, but let me reach back out to them. I love the idea of setting up a plan so alumni could maybe come, maybe be a homecoming event or something, I don't know. And then I'll find out what the status is, and I'll bring back some options to the board for the next board. Appreciate you bringing this up.
So from a financial standpoint, I have no idea what has been charged, what has not been charged, but one of the things I would request is to investigate whether a refund can be made and they can still be made whole with the product.
We've been making refunds to families who've requested that.
Okay. But on top of that, I would like to request that we don't charge for the actual books for the preceding years that were not completed. So I don't know what the cost of that would be or what that would look like, but I think that would be at least a step in the right direction.
We'll take a look.
And 1 year might be this big, 1 year might be that big.
Could you have a 4-year annual?
Well, that's actually, the 20 and 21 were already combined.
Yeah.
And then they had the 22, and they were working on the 23.
Okay. 2020 and 2021.
We're not necessarily as far behind as it sounds, but we're not there.
And they're like possibly involved.
There's likely a lot of material there. It just needs something put together, but I don't know what's there. So let me talk to high school and we'll get a plan to move forward.
Another thing, one more. Maybe you could, even if you could get the people to come forward, if you could ask them if they had any pictures during any of the individual years, is to send them to the high school and with the dates on the back to the best of their ability, at least a year. And that way they could have full piles of pictures without having the people have to come.
Actually, kind of submitted now, but,
Yeah.
so there's a email log over there.
Yeah, but we're talking way back now.
Let me look at it and see what we
There.
need, and then we'll reach out with it.
All right, well, let's see here. Do you have anything you want to go on to your superintendent report? Can you do that?
I think I'm
Right?
ready.
Okay. All right, well, we moved you to 6.4, so it's up to you.
So before we get to the jurisdictional contract, I got board appreciation message. We read that in the resolution, but I do need to speak on behalf of the school district, staff. We are blessed, our community is blessed to have board members of your caliber that have our children. We do this work on a volunteer basis. It always makes me smile when people ask how much you make. And what you make is, that satisfaction of helping kids. And the last 5-6 years since I've been here, I couldn't ask for a better board to support my work, our leadership's work, our staff's work, across from our custodians and cooks to our teachers and principals. We know that you value our work, and it shows in your support. So I need to say that officer. So thank you very much. Okay.
You're not going to send back for 8 years.
Yeah.
Sorry.
This is year 8 on my second
Okay,
tour.
the second
My
tour.
third.
Yeah, but when you say 5 or 6, that's because COVID's in there, and that's like the twilight zone of years.
It's all complicated.
They disappear. It's the Bermuda Triangle that I always told about as a youth, and then it never really was a thing, but now I think I found it.
It's a thing.
Yes, that was a thing.
So this is a result of some legislature that came through, and there's a new law that requires board members to register with a statement of economic interest with the Oregon Ethics Commission, and that's something new for board members. Jessica and I have for years, that's part of our practice that we register, you go through and claim if you have any interest outside of the school district that might be conflicting. It's just I think it's a good practice to be transparent so the community understands that you're not on the board to gain financially, and beyond our salary, we don't have any other financial gain. So, with that, the law requires us to have a jurisdictional contact, and that person explains to new board members the Ethics Commission and the Statement of Economic Interest, provides training as needed, and then helps make sure that everyone's completed their form.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
2 of us are on teams that require I've been filing. Do we have to file a separate one for school board and commissioner? Both commissioners, or can we just file a statement of economic interest? It seems to me it doesn't ask our position, it asks for our statement of economic interest.
So when the jurisdictional contact is appointed, they'll reach out to you and ask if you have a pre-existing profile, and we'll link those at the state registry, so you only have to complete one form, but it will suffice for all of your roles. But it'll be based off your username.
That's right. It seemed to me that it wasn't asking what job I had, it was asking what my interests are.
Okay, so we are recommending Jessica to be our jurisdictional contact. And so we will have discussion and place down action item to appoint her in the future. When we make all those appointments in our July meeting, it would be added there. But because this is new, we're sliding it in.
Do we have one for minus?
Correct.
For minus, like your block minus for the yeah, darn it.
All right. Oh, did you do it?
I did it, yeah.
Oh, I got so excited. All right. We talked about this last work session. Melody and I have had a number of meetings with elementary teachers. I've met with other folks as well multiple times. And one of the things that we've identified is we've got new curricular adoption. We also have a loss of plan time at our elementary level for a variety of reasons. One of them is because we have folks covering other people. Another piece of it is we've extended the time of the day. And so looking at what we're trying to support, and we talk a lot about, being school ready for students rather than requiring students to be school ready. This is one way that we're trying to get our staff and our schools ready for our students, because that's something we have control over. We have some programs that we really feel we need more time for training. So that's around our behavior plans and our new curriculum adoptions. And so we need time for training, and we also need time for our teachers to implement them, put them in those plans. So one of the suggestions and ideas that we came up with was having full days. And so at the last work session, I suggested Wednesdays. I believe Ms. Smith suggested if we were going to do it, although she wasn't a fan of it, we should extend could extend like a long weekend. And I neglected to mention that the elementary teachers proposed a 7-day plan. And I believe they were thinking 7 days before I shared with them that really I think 4 is the maximum that we can do to keep seat time. Their plan is right here. It's a little bit closer to what Ms. Smith would suggest. So if we look at the next one, this is the 4th Wednesday. So you can kind of see up there the 22nd of February, 22nd of March, 26th of April, and 24th of May. That keeps it consistent. And also, part of the discussion I've had with a few board members is that families have plans for Wednesday care in the afternoon. It likely or hopefully wouldn't be that much more of a stretch to have the mornings covered. And that's the one piece that, you know, we understand the impact that it's going to have on our community, on our families. Other school districts have done this for very similar reasons, so they can have their staff prepared for students. And our hope is, although it's going to be uncomfortable for some of our families trying to find care, the hope is the results of the work that happens during that time will be more beneficial for their students. So this is 4th Wednesday. Can we go to the next one?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, that's the next one?
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
all right.
That baby for that.
So this is extending long weekend. So you can see there's one would be the 2nd of February. That makes things kind of tight for us. That would make extended weekend. Then 3/24, get a 3-day weekend. I believe that 3/13, get a 4-day weekend. And then again,
It appears to be the
17th.
17th.
Okay, back at the President's Day. Thank you for, my glasses are for reading, not for seeing part of them. So it wouldn't be quite as tight. And then May 16th. This one extends it. It may help encourage more families. So I'm sharing these 3, recommending only 4, but we do need to have a board discussion, and we'd like to move forward with some change to the calendar, you know, quickly because things are moving quickly.
February 2nd is coming.
Yeah.
17th.
17th, I missed.
So the only thing I thought about after talking about the different ideas, and I think I might have said, is that if we were to look at the Wednesday part about being the 4th Wednesday of the month, the only thing, unless it's a conflict with staff or anything, I felt that it should be the 1st Wednesday, partially because it's easier to just plain remember that, but because there are 2 5-week months, it just makes it harder to even remember what Wednesday is what Wednesday when it's getting further into the month, and that it might be easier to be the 1st Wednesday of the month, and it's just in your mind, you're feeling that one is. So that way is the reason for that part. I just felt it should be the 1st one instead of the 4th one because of that reason. So anyway, just one more idea to throw into all the other great ideas.
Yeah, I would recommend if you wanted to do the 1st Wednesday, that we wouldn't do February.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
we'd want to move it to the 4th one to be June.
So I guess I'm a little confused, because when I looked at the first schedule, there were like 4 days in June. If the intent is to prep and prepare and do the things for this school year, it feels like anything in June has missed the mark. And then we're talking about preparation and providing more preparatory stuff for the next year. So whatever we're doing, I feel like we need to enact now and not wait till June.
Yeah,
to put any bulk rate.
Yeah, I agree. My assumption is that staff was trying to put together something that would be least disruptive, and then saw the end of the year as an opportunity, so school would just essentially be done 3 days earlier, but it doesn't fit the target. Right.
And I'd love to do an in-service or something where we can help prepare for next year, because that would give lots of lead time for better supports. But for the immediacy of what I've heard out of the concerns,
Yeah.
I feel like we need to do something sooner rather than later.
Other thoughts, questions, recommendations?
Well, yeah, I kind of, myself, I prefer Wednesdays, partly for the families and partly for the fact that there's not the incentive to not be there or to, I'm tired, I'm done at noon. I'm not blaming people, I'm just saying that for myself, I'm thinking what I'm gonna do for the long weekend while I'm supposed to be working, but on Wednesday, I'm there focused, and it's time that we use anyway, so I think that it changes the focus of our Wednesdays maybe, but I prefer something, if it's for training and collaboration, midweek rather than end of week. If you did it on a Monday, I'd be fine with it, because at least a Monday I'm focused on what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna learn all this stuff, and I'm gonna go to the end of the week. You'd still have the 3-day gap from students, but if you had it on Mondays instead, for me, okay, I'm gonna do a bunch of planning, collaboration, work on this stuff, and I'm gonna work it on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'm gonna be implementing. If I do it on Friday, you and I know both, if you do a big lesson on Friday, retention by the following Monday is about 30% or less, maybe 20%. So just as an educator, I don't think we're getting the value out of the time that we could if we either move it to Monday or Wednesday.
Well, then I'll speak as a parent, those reasons for that one. Because they, like, in the prior times when we decided to even go half day Wednesday, it was like, we can't do it on a Friday because all the staff wants to go home.
Yeah.
And so that's why we chose half day Wednesday, I get that. But for families, if we're considering on a family meeting, they're definitely wanting to pre-plan. So a Monday would be fine, a Friday is fine, but in the middle of the week, that's really, really hard.
I just think I'm more productive on a Monday. If you're designing things for kids and you want to try them and then you can talk, and if let's say you did that on a Monday, then you have Wednesday your half day. We're not going to go full day Wednesday then if we take all day Monday off, or are we?
Yeah, well, originally we did talk about doing Wednesdays, so we wouldn't lose that continuity.
The
So
continuity, but
I would think.
Anyway, I don't know. That's just my own thought. You know, if we're worrying about an extended weekend for families, so you can go to the beach. That's great. But
Well, it's easier than care when it's.
As long as they know far enough in advance. The first one in February may be a little tough, but they'll be, if they know have a schedule, they'll be aware of it.
If we can ask the rec center to partner with us, so we can have some care available, that would be really nice.
From a student's point of view, I could see this as like taking on Wednesday as an opportunity to help break up the week, help focus on homework that is given in the earlier part of the week that is due in the latter half of the week. And I also see it as a way to just kind of give a mental break to these kids. Because like we talked about last meeting, students' attention spans have shrunk since COVID. And I feel like by providing a break, even if it's just once a month, in the middle of the week on a Wednesday, because it's already a short week or a short day, that we could be possibly doing our students a favor.
This on that same category for me is that if we were trying to plan this for a whole year, then we definitely would. But one of the things that would be great, no matter which day we choose, but is to see how it does work out, even for the first 2 months. And that gives you an idea if we're going to continue or change anything for next year, whatever, but like practicing it out. I don't know. You could also try once a month and do all 4 plans.
We could do a hybrid, and I have had some elementary staff ask if we could continue this on into the next year. That wasn't what we initially discussed. I mean, it's something certainly that we can consider. And part of the concern is, well, we only have, the last part of the day, so we can't get training in, or we're exhausted by that time that comes along. And I hear that and understand it. I've also been in other districts where you do have a full day, and then you have people saying, I wish we had half a day, because the full day is way too long, and I'm exhausted by the time. So, there's gotta be a happy medium, and maybe that's something that we can find and look into. But for this, I would really like to be able to move something forward tonight. If as a board you aren't ready to do that, we could forego February and maybe double up in March, and I could pull together a hybrid piece for you. I guess my wondering would be, we wouldn't want to do the first Wednesday this month, obviously, but maybe we back it up and go the 17th. So it does go 17th and then 20th, so we match it up to that holiday.
What
And then
subject curriculum are they trying to learn?
conscious discipline, so behavior management, and then the literacy curriculum that we're adopting. And then we have a math curriculum that's coming, but it's not quite there yet, so we'll be looking at mapping out or aligning curriculum.
So that we aren't pushing it into time, would it be okay if we did one or two now and then did several pre-Labor Day and just brought them in before school?
If we bring them in for school, we have to pay them.
Right.
So this is the way to do it,
So you're paying the parents back?
not paying them.
Well, we're paying them, but we're not adding to the budget to it. So one of the things that we could, I think that if you get this implemented and started, there's going to be some time in the fall that you have to reflect on what you did and maybe have some additional days. I don't think you're going to carry it all through the next school year, but somewhere you need to have some things at least once a quarter where people can say, okay, how's this process working?
Yeah.
And that was the point of the Wednesdays anyway, for training. So like it could be, all those other plans could be foregone, and now we're learning that.
Well, our Wednesdays are packed, and I can show you what's going on during Wednesdays, for sure. But it's trying to make up some time and get ourselves school ready now. And I know the elementary teachers feel like the secondary schools have more time to plan, and they feel like, they're working with some kids they love and want to support, and they feel they need more time. We can't add additional plan time. We looked at that, just adding into the day, and it would have provided 25 minutes more of plan time for the remainder of the year, which didn't seem like, a real valuable amount of time. And so by going the full day, we felt like we could get more value. So what about shifting to February, since February is upon us, and having it back up to the 17th and 20th? That would be the first one of February. And then the 1st of March, that would be the first Wednesday, so that's kind of what Melody has talked about. And then the 5th of April, again, the first Wednesday. And then the 3rd of May, and again, that's the first Wednesday. So it'd be a little bit of a hybrid.
So you did this, what did you do in February?
2/17, backed up to holiday.
Because the 20th is on.
Would be a full day.
See, now could that count as two? It's like, because you guys were asking for a
I just
half
don't
day,
think you're
so
gonna
really
be able
you're
to
planning, you're getting a full day.
No, it would count time-wise as doubling up, and I think we can afford to do that with seat time. But we were planning on using the full day of the Wednesday and changing the Wednesday so we can have an extended training. And our plan is 2 to 3 hours of training, and then the rest of the day for implementation of it.
I think my concern on the 17th to the 20th is to kind of what Bill's saying. If you're going to spend a day to learn, to grow, to figure out how to implement, and then you lose 3 days after that of everything that you just went through instead of starting to practically apply it and start looking at some of those things that need to adjust. The message I received out of these things is that there are some significant things that they're trying to learn and grow and be able to make changes in. And so if you are trying to focus on how those changes work, then stacking it at that stage, you're losing some of that growth opportunity that all of the building is going to be able to start saying, here's what I just experienced when I tried this here, and those conversations that take place amongst all of the professionals and their compatriots. So I get a little leery about stacking it to a longer weekend.
What about shifting to Tuesday, the 21st?
That part I don't have a problem with.
It could be Tuesday the 21st or Monday the 13th.
Or if you want to stay with all Wednesdays, you just do the 8th in February, and from that point forward, it's the first one. That gives everybody a week to be able to be notified and know that.
Yeah, I think we gotta push it out as late as we can.
Okay, I would go with the Tuesday.
Yeah.
You'll have a Tuesday and then, actually, you'll have a Tuesday and then you'll have a Wednesday.
Yeah.
So for your first one, you can get started on Tuesday, get some work done, have some classes, and then go Wednesday. So you got actually a day and a half. And I think that's a good.
Then go to the first Wednesday after that.
Whatever you do.
Yeah, I mean, the only other option I thought too is that if you're picking your Wednesday as a full day on the rest of them, that is filling in your 2 hours, is that the other option is to take that full Tuesday, but make Wednesday a whole day then. Because your 2 hours is back here on Tuesday. But I'm just throwing out those options. I'm just trying to make it also so it's not that many days all in 1 week.
We could do that, but the high school and the middle school will still be happy. So we'll have situations where we have kiddos who in the past their parents' plan was big brother, big sister. And so then they also would have to meet you.
All right.
They may still, but it's a limited number of people, and that's just sometimes that's what it
More than
goes.
you guys realize. Like we're talking about how there's a staff deficiency. Well, there's a daycare deficiency, and kids are all alone.
Especially in this community where most households are either single parent or dual parent who both work throughout the day.
And once you got both of them.
So, re-looking at this, using the 21st is February, and then the first Wednesday of March, April, May, is that something the board can support? If not, then what is it, what adjustments can we make that we can support?
Can we put 2 guaranteed and revisit at that point with is this getting the intended impact that we want, so that we can reach to what Kelly's got concerns about, and then we can have some sort of demonstration that says, this is what we're doing, this is how we're applying it, and this is why it's important we continue to do this.
So you're asking for goals for each day?
I'm asking that we solidify absolutely 2, and that for the remaining 2, we put goals towards those to see, did it have the intended impact? Are we getting where we want to go?
Kind of 2 plus 2.
Because I want to make sure Kelly's needs are being addressed to the parents, that there is a specific reason that we're doing this, and that we can point to what the outcomes of those are when we did it.
Yeah, we can. I'm just looking at timelines and thinking family planning, because it's going to be tough.
Sure.
We know that. So I wonder if we can look at maybe the first one and then revisit it.
Sure.
Except the next one that follows is
right after.
Only 2 weeks.
like the next week.
Let's schedule and then maybe cancel the 3rd and 4th, depending on feedback.
I think those first 2 scheduled up the way you are, you're literally gonna have 2.5 days within an 8-day period. And that's really a pretty significant time to get a jump on this thing. If we're serious and we're gonna get it going, that's a good start. It's kind of like doing daily doubles at the start of football, but it's getting it done.
I was gonna say too, I forgot about, when you talk about the daycare part of it, is that also by having it on Wednesdays, is that they already have staff that's there a longer period already, and it's not near as hard to add them for just the morning leading up to it, and a whole nother day in addition to the early on Wednesday. A lot of them only work Wednesday, that's the only day that they can either extra staff, whether it's with an extra anybody, so. And Shauna, you know, if we can just give her, probably she needs to be warned more than anybody right up front, so that she could be ready for that.
And I talked to Sean quite a bit. I think I've warned her about something like this.
Yeah, she was hitting up Mr. Fink for space in the school for Martin. Yeah, so she's on.
So then at this point, we would have, our teams need to be, between now and then, planning to use that time because they're going to get a lot of time. It needs to be structured so that it's, you don't come to the first day on the 21st and say, okay, what are we doing? It's just.
When Melody and I met, the request was we need this time. And we need this time to do curriculum, and we need them time to plan it into our lessons.
And you may need to break it up into different things. Part of it's on discipline, part of it's on whatever, you know, as you go. But it's not me to make the plan for folks, but I think if they know that this is coming, that they will hopefully put some effort into how they're going to use their time. We've got a couple Wednesdays before the 21st of February that they can at least say, this is our plan to go ahead.
Well, I think we have some pretty good ideas of what we want to do. So.
Yeah, okay, I think that's great.
The 8th of March is our board meeting. If you can recall, we shifted to the 8th. So that's right after that 2-week block of extra time. That would be a good opportunity for us to maybe revisit. Teachers come also and share how they felt.
Perfect. I'd love to hear the impact. Obviously, we're not going to hear the results because it's just not a turnaround time. But was it useful? What did they take away? How can they apply it? How are they applying it? Specifics too. I want to honor their requests as much as we can, but it is a significant lift on parents and other components. So we want to make sure that we can discuss all of those components.
And maybe before we even have the very first one, I think I might have brought it up to you, but I still would really like to work on, even though we have the 3 elementaries, it's always been my thing about, at the same time, our kids coming in and joining in at 6th grade a little bit at the same level. And so they all have the same expectations, they've learned the same behaviors, as close as we can have them at the same school. And so I'd still would like to, if there's sometimes during some of these periods, and maybe it won't be good for next year quite yet, is that we really have also a joint time where like all the 1st grade teachers are all together and all your 2nd and all your 3rd. And let's see what they need and have 4th grade back and go and tell 4th, 3rd grade what they need them to do coming into them, that kind of thing.
We started a little bit of that last year. And so that's part of the curriculum mapping that our teaching and learning COSAs have been supporting, and so that's what's starting to happen. It hasn't happened in this district for years, and we're finally at capacity where we can do that. And then what we follow that up with is professional learning teams, where teachers meet on a regular basis to review the curriculum, find out where they're at, reflect on lessons. So that's how you keep everybody moving along about the same pace. The challenge is, getting everybody on the same page to start with and understanding how to implement the different strategies. And you heard our high school talk about how excited they were about the RTI work and about the training that they've been doing. We're beginning to see that throughout our district. It's exciting, but it does take time, and I think that this time will be appreciated for sure, because we are moving. No, you're exactly right.
Well, if nothing else, at the very end, we all just get together and say, okay, is this helping enough? We got out ways to go, or are we doing fantastic and don't know where we're at?
So with this, went back and forth whether we needed to have a board vote on this, or if you wanted to just give me direction and implement this.
The board's actually in charge of the calendar, we probably should vote on it.
Like have a vote on it.
I would like to have a vote on it. It's changing a schedule. I think we need to be responsible for the outcomes of that.
So we could add to 8.3. Okay, Christie.
So we need to move the,
Help with words on that one.
When we get to that point, we can add on.
We have to move to amend the agenda. So moved.
Then moved and seconded to add item 8.3. Well, let's see whatever Scott said about the calendar when he gets there. Okay?
about calendar, elementary calendar, yeah.
Keep writing.
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded, so we'll have to.
So all those in favor say aye? Aye. Okay.
You're gonna get that right.
So, and add it on, Christian.
There we go.
So, Scott, you have anything else on recording?
Yes, I do. So I went over this last week. I'm going to go over it kind of quickly again. We have guests here more than we did at our work session, but this is moving on to our resolution that is also going to be an action item. So this is the presentation about where we are construction project, the high school budget. And I started it by talking about supply chain issues. You can see Fortune 1000 companies, 95% see disruption, 75% see negative impact, 55 see that they're downgrading their growth. So the supply chain issues that the rest of the world felt, we felt it here in St. Helens. And I gave the example of we have a switch box that we needed to order. We tried to get ahead of it, found out that it was going to be about 35 weeks lead time. So we did a little investigation, found out that was pretty standard. We ordered it. When we ordered it, the 35 weeks jumped to like 55 weeks. And so something that we're anticipating to need in 3 months now is a year plus out before we can even get it. So that's slowing the construction process down. And when you slow it down, it impacts the budget. So then the next slide. And this is just a reminder, I shouldn't put it up there because we're all reminded and probably sick and tired of the jokes about eggs being so expensive. But it is a reality that we're all feeling inflation. And the construction project has started to. And then I went through the different transitions, and each time we made adjustments to the high school project. I do feel like we fine-tuned it. Part of the construction process is you ask the stakeholders to dream big, because if you don't ask them to dream big, then you're going to miss something. You're going to leave something out. And what an architect will do is say, dream big, and you might say, I want gold-covered drinking fountain. And the architect will say, that's fantastic. And then as we go through the process, they'll start with the drawing with the gold-plated drinking fountains. And then when the budget reality hits, they'll say, you know, we can give you a standard stainless steel drinking fountain that gives you the same water, and it's not going to cost as much as the gold-plated drinking fountain. So you dream big, and then you get down to things that replace, that do exactly the same thing you want, but aren't super expensive. So that's kind of the process that you go through. And so we started out kind of narrowing down the project. We thought we did a good job. We felt like we were getting in the budget. We submitted our plans, and the people who estimate the plans said, no, you're $11 million over, make some adjustments. So we got rid of, obviously, all the gold-plated drinking fountains. And then some. Felt really good and resubmitted, and we're told you're still $11 million over, even after cutting $11 million because of supply chain delays, because of inflation. So we readjusted. Can you go ahead and flip? And we got to this point, yeah, this is something that we really would like, and it came back in yet, still over, and you need to make some adjustments. And one thing that really was a sore subject is that middle section that connects with building A and building B. that was counseling and administrative offices. And we started looking at that saying, so we're gonna build new offices for counselors and administrators and just refinish all the other classrooms. That didn't sit well with the committee, and so we said that plan doesn't work, we go to the next one, and the next one after that, and we landed on this plan. So the offices are, the administration offices are in the old cafeteria, we've got science classrooms connecting, and then completely refinishing and revamping all the classes in building B and C, upgrades to building D. Counseling office is in the old library with a couple classes attached to it, and the center of the school, which should be the center of the school, the library or the media center. It also shifts a single commons to kind of the activity side, so you have large commons and matched up with the gyms, cafeteria, theater, so we can block off a good portion of the school and have that whole old A wing as a community thing. So we're excited about that piece, and this is where we're at now. So more fine tuning, where we're at. Here's just the current construction budget, $69 million. Go to the next one. These are the items that we had to cut to get ourselves down into the budget. So Christy, if you can go back up to the last drawing. This last drawing, we can afford to build. But there's some things that are missing that we're considering essential. And they're essential because if we don't fix them now, we're gonna fix them in 5 to 10 years, and that's gonna cost even more money. As an example, the parking lots need some help. If the parking lots out by the athletic area is more like a gravel lot, it's not really paved anymore.
You remember this, right?
That.
So we voted that year
Gravel pit is
to pay the teachers rather than take care of our parking lot. And it was 300.
Hey, careful,
For real.
careful, careful.
And it was
I know your cash carryover, so
It was
careful.
like 325 to do that. And now, it's crazy.
It was $325,000, $350 to do the parking lots back in 2014.
I want to say 16 or 17.
Yeah, you said 2016 last time.
Now you just put another zero on, you got it.
Yeah, now it's about $1 million, $900,000. So that's not in the budget. HVAC in building B has needed definite work. It's kind of held together with duct tape and baling wire. Jared and his team do a great job keeping it going, but it's on its last leg. That's going to need replacing in another 5 to 10 years, and the prices again are just going to go up. So go ahead and keep going through. That's kind of my pitch. We have add alternate and futures list. These are all the things that we'd like to add back potentially or add to the school in the future. That total comes out to $19 million in today's level. Go to the next one. So now we're getting into the thing that we need to talk about and the board needs to have an action on. There's multiple ways that we can get to kind of adding back some of those essential elements like paving and consistent HVAC. We could go out for a loan, which I would not recommend unless it's absolutely necessity. We have some property that we likely will sell that could help. And we could also take money out of general fund. That's something that we really don't want to do. We want to try to avoid that because that directly impacts staffing and other things that we're trying to train. We can do, and I swore that I would never want to do this again, but we're going to want to do this again in a way to ask our community. Here's what we feel we need. Here's what we can do. If you are not interested in supporting this, then we've got a good product, but it's going to be missing these essential things. So it's kind of giving our community a choice. I hope it's going to be an obvious choice. And what we've done is applied for a grant, and the state provides a $4 million matching grant. We won the $4 million matching grant when we built the middle school, and you're eligible every 6 years, or every 6 years. We're now eligible again. For the middle school, we didn't make the first cut. So we had to have other school districts, sadly, not pass bonds. So each school district that didn't pass a bond, we were on a wait list. And we kept moving up the wait list until we finally, luckily, made the final cut. So it was kind of touch and go whether we could get the $4 million. This time, you can see highlighted, we were the first school district pulled out of the lottery. So we're guaranteed a $4 million matching grant from the state. With the caveat, we have to pass at least a $4 million bond. So we've done some work, looked at our current bond load. Chris, can you go to the next one? And so this is the original high school bond. The price point for the bond was total combined $2.31, $2.32. Those are estimates. So that's what people voted on and supported for their taxes. Because our community has grown, we've got new apartment complexes, new homes, and also the value of properties have gone up, it's created a sliver for us. So if we go to the next one. Go to the next one. This right here. It's created a sliver. And you can look, the combined total is actually $2.28. We could have pushed and said, you know, we could get another $300,000 out of this, but we really want to be responsible, and we're trying to we just need $4 million to get that $4 million match. And in doing so, the estimate of what it will cost is actually lower than when our taxpayers supported our original tax. So we've been able to slide that in, kind of a sliver. It doesn't extend the length of the bond. It doesn't increase taxes anymore than what families are currently paying. And if we can pass a $4 million bond, we get a matching $4 million, so we get $8 million. It's a rare opportunity that you can double your money and double $4 million into $8 million. So hopefully our community will see this and say, this is a great deal. It's not going to change anything, and we can add back those essential elements like paving the parking lot, completing the HVAC system at the high school. So we're hopeful that we can get there. I'm not excited about having another bond election, but I think this is the best way, and frankly, I think it would be negligent on our part not to offer this opportunity for our community. And it is an opportunity, and if the community says, no, we're not interested, then we know what our next work is. But as I said, hopefully they'll see that, gosh, this doesn't come along very often. Okay, and you can see right there, it shows kind of the sliver where we would slide in that $4 million. So what the board, my rare opportunity, these are things that we'll have to talk about in the future. I kind of highlighted items that I thought would be most beneficial add back, and I got it to 7 million, 7.3 million. But again, we'll talk about that hopefully when we can pass the bond. The bond I'm recommending we put on the May ballot, and that's what we need to talk about next. So can you go? So here's the timeline. We're having our meeting tonight, so the resolution needs to be considered, and then those are our steps to get going. May 16th is the election. Hopefully we'll be able to have a celebration after that, assuming that the board will support putting the bond on the ballot. Go to the next one. So we've got the full resolution, and that will come during the action item time. But it's a resolution of the St. Helens School District 502, Columbia County, Oregon, calling to measure elections to the electors of the district. The question of contracting the general obligation bond, indebtedness in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $4 million to finance capital costs, including reimburse expenditures and related matters. So with all of that, you have questions.
I've explained it to a couple parents that it's like a free refinance and not extending and not changing anything.
can't pass this up. I mean, 8 million for 4 million, doesn't raise the taxes, and then send the bond. And my thing is, we need to do the school right the first time, not, oh, we should have. It's in the past, I started when the jail opened up, and there's a lot of oops. So I think we need to make sure we're doing the school right, and it's there for many generations when we're all gone.
That 4 million from the state, people say, well, that's my tax dollars, so you have your choice. You can have those tax dollars come to this community from around the state, or you can have your tax dollars go to another community. But that grant is going to happen, and if we don't take it and pass it, the next guy down is going to say, thank you very much, I'm glad you sent it our way. As we did for the middle school, that I just assume if I'm going to pay state taxes, have them come to my community as to any other, and by just simply checking yes, I can get that. So that it's, I just can't pass up dollar for dollar money match very easily, and then say I went and took economics from Mr. Newsom.
Hey. There are gifts. There are
I swear you took it from me.
Okay.
I did take economics from Houston.
If I took it from Houston, he's really old.
I think it was the other way around.
I couldn't help but pick on him a little bit. Anyway, yeah, I mean, seriously, it's just irresponsible not to take advantage of the money that we have, or at least give people the opportunity to take that advantage. So other people may say no, no, and if they say no, they say no, and that's fine. But that's our job, is to accept the results of the election. But we certainly need to present the opportunity to those folks that we happen to have it.
And I think it's really important at the same time is to be communicating our grade level between now and the election. Because I think everybody needs to understand totally what you just said, and everybody, not just a few people, and hope that the word gets out there. So.
Yeah, I'll begin my speaking, sir.
I think between now and the election, if we pass this tonight, we're going to have to do a really good job of promoting why this will be a good thing to our community. Because there are a lot of people in this community who may not understand, simply because they don't have a kid in the school district, they don't have a horse in that race. But me, who still has a little sister who's going to go through that high school, I see this as an excellent opportunity to do it right the first time and not have to come back after 5 to 10 years to improve stuff that we should be doing now.
Are you waiting yet?
Yes.
We'll talk about a pack after we're done.
So
This is why we're so serious.
the greatest predictor of future behavior is past behavior. And realistically, the only reason I'm going along with this is because I saw what we did with the bond money for the middle school. I saw what we did with Plymouth. I saw where we cut where we needed to, we trimmed where we needed to, and I watched every other district around us go through the roof with their budgeting and blow things out of the water. I think it's important to message that we recognize just how big of an ask it is for people to support these things, and that every other time that we've done this, we've held to our word and we've moved forward with what we need to do. So yes, there's a lot of reasons why people should say yes to it, but realistically, we can hold to our word when we say this is what we're going to do and this is how we're going to spend that money in the most efficient and effective way possible.
Along with that, I was going to ask you is, are there things on that bond, okay, that we could buy cheaper if we do them now than we would to leave?
But everything.
So
Prices don't go down.
So I'm just saying, like, it's, you know, sort of pre-order, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, and we're doing some of that.
Okay, because I mean, oh my gosh. It's like, we're going to start canceling next week, it's already twice as much.
So I guess my biggest question is, what happens if we pass this $4 million bond, intending for it to pay for everything on that list, and then all of a sudden, not even a year from now, prices get jacked up twice as much.
That's why I'm trying to order today.
Yeah, that's the risk that you take.
That's the risk we did take, and that's why we're where we
We're trying to
are.
go faster now.
I guess the answer to that, and this isn't meant to be flipped at all, but if things go up that much, $8 million, if we can't spend the $8 million that we want to spend on, then we're spending $8 million to complete the project that we currently have. So we currently know we can complete it, but as I said, we're missing those essential things. But if things go up so much where we can't even buy those essential things, then we wouldn't be able to complete the project. So I guess the short answer is, well, then we still get to complete the project.
But I would add that a lot of the work in the current phase is already bid out under contractual. So I just want the community to be concerned that like phase one can't happen because you have some contractors who are bidded out and that pricing is pretty set. So I think it's more of a limitation of what we would be able to achieve with what we want to do here, like that scope for phase two would have to be reduced again.
Yeah, so in seeing that what we've spent right now is really, really high. We also were really lucky that we passed it in May because we got a jump start, where the ones that passed in November can't afford what they dreamed at all. So we're in a good start because we had the previous, before the leak.
Yeah. And a good example, we built the middle school for $40 million. That seems like a big number to me. Now that middle school is priced out closer to $100 million. And so we hit things at the right time. We want to continue to try to hit them at the right time.
We'll make them last as long as the old schools did, so that we won't be around to know.
Okay, that's all that I have for my report.
Just throwing me right into the grave already, aren't you?
You're going right along with us, Karen. Get that. Just don't bury what.
Can I just say with that? I looked at Heidi, she's giving the thumbs up. I think the union would be supportive of need some help. So just, yeah, I felt
I started saying yes back.
Clearly the deciding factor here.
would be very supportive of anything.
We'll start off.
We're gonna talk about a pack too. I'm
think
not
it's a
giving
big
this
value.
all away.
I know, anything you need that we can offer.
Appreciate that.
That mean buying lottery tickets?
No.
We need.
I've been trying. I've been really trying for a couple months.
But this is a great example, right? You know, you guys are picking on performance reviews. But
He was picking on.
he represents the teachers support our district, just like you support. So that's why, you know, we're really seeing some great things happen. And I appreciate you stepping up and saying, hey, we're ready to go. You know, it means something. Doesn't happen in every district. So thank you.
We should have worn our red
All right, well, then, is that everything in that whole category then? We're all caught up?
I'm all caught up.
Okay, all right. Then we're going to 7.0, visitors to address the board on agenda items. That's all the things we talked about tonight. First of all, do you have any with? No.
We just did.
Okay, that's what I figured, if everybody's good in this room, hopefully we're all right.
Good.
Okay, well then we'll go on to the action items, and of course, on this one, we did add the 8.3, and Scott will tell us the wording when we get. Okay. All right, so 8.1 is the resolution 2022-23, number 10, and that is a resolution to call for the bond election for what we just went through.
I move we I'll let you.
Resolution 2223, number 10, call to bond election.
I'll second.
All right, and moved and seconded to accept action item 8.1. Anybody have any further asking questions or anything on it? No good. All right, then all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, all right. So remember 8.2, and this is back on Scott's shoulders again, is the board appreciation proclamation. The proclamation.
Yes, this is one of my favorite ones. The 2023 School Board Recognition Proclamation. Whereas school boards create a vision for what students should know and be able to do, whereas school boards establish clear standards for student performance. Whereas school boards ensure that student assessments are tied to established standards. Whereas school boards are accountable to the community for operating schools that support student achievement. Whereas school boards align school district resources to ensure that students meet standards. Whereas school boards create a climate that supports the philosophy that all children can learn at high levels. Whereas school boards build collaborative relationships based on trust, teamwork, and shared accountability. And whereas school boards are committed to continuous education and training on issues related to student achievement. Now, therefore, we hereby declare our appreciation to the members of the St. Helens School Board and proclaim the month of January to be School Board Recognition Month. We urge all citizens to join us in recognizing the dedication and hard work of our local school board members in preparing today's students for tomorrow's work. Thank you very much. I do have a question though. Jessica, do we need to designate you the district?
I was just gonna ask that.
On that. So it should be actually 8.4, we'll need a recommendation for 8.
So let's get through this one and then we'll add
Is
that.
that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so do you have any good wording for me on that?
Elementary calendar adjustment will be what you're voting on. We will have February 21st as a full day. Then we'll have a full day on March 1st. We will report back to the board on March 8th. We'll also schedule for April 5th. And that's the first Wednesday of April, and May 3rd, the first Wednesday in April, based on our discussion at the March 8th meeting. We'll determine whether we will keep the next 2 full days. So what you're voting on, the title, elementary calendar adjustments.
All right, so we say 8.3 is what Scott said. Okay. Yeah, anyway, the elementary school adjustments to the calendar is 8.3. Anybody want?
So I'll move to accept it.
Okay, so moved and seconded to accept the calendar adjustment 8.3. All those in favor say aye.
I move we adjust the, add to the agenda 8.4, designating Jessica C. as district jurisdictional contact.
Then moved and seconded to add 8.4 is for Jessica Say to be the district jurisdictional contact. We don't have to do 2 more.
Yes, we do have to do 2 more.
That's what I was thinking, but we never really honestly did one. It wasn't back, we didn't give it a number to move it to. All right, so we'll just say 8.4 is to add 8.5 then.
Stop it.
8.4 to add, to approve Jessica Say as the district jurisdictional contact.
Because 8.3 was what it just.
I think it's 4.
All right, made a motion.
We can call for the vote and then we can
Chris,
do the
you think you got
next.
the numbers straight?
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah.
we just voted to add as 8.4, now she's moving to approve 8.4, so we just need a second.
All right,
All right,
Okay.
second.
Moved and seconded to add 8.4.
You can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Probably
Somebody
one
else
of
did.
us.
I'll second that. I thought we had seconded, but.
Okay.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to
All right.
add 8.5, correct?
This is why we're going on Monday and not Friday.
Gotta work out the kinks of these.
Calendar 8.3, we added 8.4 for Jessica, and now we're approving 8.4.
Would you like Colton to explain this?
Okay, all right, we'll leave it on, just say yes.
Colton's
and then-
rules of order.
All those-
Yeah.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, way too many number changes, okay, yeah.
I want to, on behalf of our elementary staff, this is huge. Thank you.
Loaded right.
Yeah, you gotta do it.
We will be calling an emergency session.
That should have not planning date.
I'm not agreeing that we voted
Upcoming.
enough times.
Actually, so can we remove March 15th, because I feel like
Oh, we had,
Yeah.
that would, did we?
I thought we had switched 15th to the 8th.
But left the planning on to be determined later, but the 8th is the regular meeting. I think if we go ahead and remove the 15th, because it's gonna be like spring breakage and busy and a lot going on right there.
What do you think?
March 15th is the first day you can file your SEI.
Oh my God.
I think we can remove it, but we need to call.
There you go, free food.
Okay.
All right, are we all good on the rest of the meeting and that stuff?
I think we need to do a reminder that board meeting is switched to March 8th.
We don't get a reminder, Christie sends us an agenda. Oh, crap.
Are we good otherwise?
And we're still looking for budget?
Yeah, but we'll hopefully be appointing or interviewing any candidate.
Have we had any?
Do we need to put out another promo?
So we're still live, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yet again, we have a budget openings. We have 3 of them, right? 3 full budget openings. So for the students in here, if you have parents that have any interest in the budget committee, please.
Really good at number
We are looking for anybody to join as a citizen that is a
An 18-year-old student.
18-year-old student.
Can an 8-year-old student register to vote?
Yeah.
I can work on that.
That would be one heck of a project.
There you go, folks.
I already have enough in my plate.
That might look good on a college application that you serve on the budget committee for your school.
We actually called a lot of times prior to this.
They just have to register to vote.
Yeah, officially, be 18 and live in the district.
No, it is.
All right, so is that it? Everybody good?
I move we adjourn.
Here we go. We are adjourned. I still think we did the number 12.
No.